You want to short the market? Well, there's two things to think about. One is the chart setups. The other is what vehicle you're going to use to take that trade lower. In this video, we're going to help you identify exactly where to get into the trade lower, up against resistance and counter trend trade lower. But stay till the end for the best information. Let's look at the polynomial. And for this example, I want to hone in on our bearish trades, head and shoulders pattern, up against an Elliott wave resistance, but always beware of a 3 drives method. Basically saying when we're up against resistance on an Elliott wave, enter into the trade. There's a high likelihood of a head and shoulders pattern giving me 3 entry points. And sometimes it's harder to find this outside entry point. This one's easy because you have 2 highs you can draw across, but this one only has 1 high. And so how do you identify where to stop resistance? Sometimes you use the Fibonacci, but with so many levels, which one do you pick? Sometimes people use the left side of the head and shoulders pattern, but what happens if it breaks above? Quick side note, this is why I like using W pattern, because it typically forms this head and shoulders pattern. We see lots of pictures where you can draw resistance on the left side or the top of the pattern, but very rarely do we ever see it on the right side of the pattern. Yes, this is resistance, just as this is resistance, but how do we calculate this resistance, especially when we want to enter to the trades lower? If we use the 2 standard deviation, yes, it gives us that highest high where it reversed, but it doesn't show us any of these trend continuation resistance areas lower. And sometimes this gives us a perfect indication of when to get into the trade, but primarily when we're uptrending. And the reason this is limited is because when you come into this horizontal channel and potentially going to sell off, this line will start to reduce down slowly. Because this calculates all the price, when this price starts to come down, the line will come down a little bit. When price comes down more, the line will come down even more. And as price sells off even more, the line will come down even further. And the green line will flatten out. With enough lower highs and lower lows, at some point you'll have a downward channel. Still good to use as resistance for an entry trade. That's what I like about the polynomial. It bends with price, showing where the equal high is. Great place to take a lower trade. Here you have the highest high, and right here you have an outside high getting ready to sell off. You can see price came into resistance, then sold off. Came into resistance and sold off, maybe had to double down, came into resistance, sold off, and now here we are again looking at the same setup. This is a perfect indicator for trend continuation, entry point. Of course, you want to do any other technical analysis that you can using old support and resistance. If this doesn't hold, then maybe double down at this higher level. Here we see on play, making the highest high, then we had a plateau and a sell off, and now we're up against resistance. Looking for the perfect place to enter into this trade with a diagonal resistance line across the top of these candlesticks. High probability, pretty easy look that this is going to go lower. Remember the bank that it didn't show is up against resistance? It had a line way up here. This gives a clearer understanding that we're at double top, but it's also pretty clear that this is outside resistance. You can always take a range box, duplicate that up, and confirm the resistance. I'm a big fan because it shows me that outside Elliott wave resistance, enter into the trade. Highest high resistance, enter into the trade. It keeps on printing, so it shows me good target areas, even real low ones. Any counter trend trades that will happen later, it'll be able to help me identify those. Old support makes new resistance, and we got a confirmation. Based on our trading system of entering 3 different locations up against resistance, this is the perfect indicator, and I just wanted to explain it so when you see me taking trades up against this resistance line for trend continuation lower, you'll know why I have so much confidence in it. Great, you stayed to the end. Now that you've seen how amazing the polynomial is, showing you the right entry, and even giving you the targets lower, we'd like to give you a discount code so you can use this on your own trading system. Click the link in the description.